felt very alone. Tennis in and of itself is a singular sport. So it's not like I retired with a bunch of teammates or other people who I could relate to. I didn't have a lot of friends coming off the tour. Women's tennis has been in the past notoriously pretty cutthroat. So there wasn't a lot of support or people around me that were going through similar things that I could reach out to.
So I started talking and interviewing female Olympians. And much to my surprise, without question, I would talk to female Olympians and female Olympians that had retired from sport both, and I got a consistent story. The ones that were still competing were scared of not competing. And the ones that had stopped competing said the day they stopped competing, everyone in the world, applauded them and said, can't wait to see what you're going to do next. And they all disclosed, I didn't have a clue what I was going to do next. And I was scared to death. And so this story over and over, I'm like, this is a real, how in the world can I be hearing the story? This is the greatest leadership. This is the greatest pool of leadership talent in the world. How can it not see that in itself? And then I realized that the world wasn't seeing it because the business world wasn't helping them transition at all. In fact, wasn't even aware of this leadership pool talent that was sort of left on the cutting room floor.
It's now the modern athlete, and that modern athlete means that they're a human with thoughts and feelings. And I think that for too long in society, athletes, and in some ways they're still this way. And I think a lot of what we've seen even recently with current events, the NBA players, the Milwaukee Bucks deciding not to step on the court yesterday and getting the games canceled. I think that our society has put athletes and not humanize them. And I think athletes are tired of it, and they're over it, and rightfully so. And so I think you've seen athletes become more mindful, more understanding of the power that they hold, and more willing to exercise that power. And so I'm just excited because I think a lot of what we've talked about today, feeds into that. Mental performance, mental health is very important in that regard. And, personally, as an agent, as somebody that's an advisor to athletes, I'm eager to support that shift and support pressing on. So I think to answer your question, kind of the future for athletes is just bigger voice, more power in his or her hands. And I think more of a willingness to utilize that power for something they believe in.